Jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Uncapped. Chims,
Long time coming, bro.
It's been a minute, man.
It's been a long time, bro.
What's the reason for this delay, man? The people have been asking me, to be honest with you.
For me, I'm honest, bro. I'm gonna tell the people what really happened.
What really happened?
I got married. I don't know. In that way, you know how you can kill it, yeah? You kill it by like people be like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations!" People forget that we haven't been dropping episodes. You know,
well, we've been going for a minute, guys, and the reason for that is I think you got sick.
Yeah, I've been sick
for a good 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
flu season.
Yeah, and I'm currently sick as well. But we had to get this episode out.
We had to, bro.
Right? And I've had all my friends tell me, yo, did you guys quit? Are you guys pursuing another? Because the last story, funny enough, that we put was of us recording an episode.
And then nothing. But I'm concerned, nobody checked in. You know? Are you guys okay?
Y'all all right?
it's always, where is the episode? Never, how is the episode?
How is the, exactly. You know? But we're back, guys.
No, we're
this is actually the last episode of the year, and what better way, right, to end it with the fashion guru.
Oh, bro.
With a person who's quite frankly very dear to me, and yeah, man, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Abrar to the house. Woo!
Well, thanks for having me.
No, of course.
Honestly.
It's nothing but a pleasure.
Wallahi, the pleasure is all mine.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself, you know. Guys, she's quite shy here because, you know, I've told her before the episode, I'm going to ask you to tell the people who you are.
Yeah.
So now is
nobody gave me that heads up that I have to, you know, talk about myself.
You just thought you're just going to come in and talk.
I just thought I was just going to answer some questions, you know, like it's an exam.
We're a caring group, man.
We need to know.
We need to know what's going on.
No, honestly, I'm just going to introduce myself as a modest fashion blogger. Yeah, the word modest is very important because I feel like fashion blogger is just all over the place.
Yeah.
But modest fashion blogger is who I am. I'm still at the very beginning of my career, I would say. I'm learning a lot. And yeah, I don't actually reside here, so I'm actually a Doha person, Qatar. Used to live here. That's how I got the pleasure to know.
You guys studied together?
No, we didn't study together.
Isn't that funny?
We have a mutual friend that introduced us to one another.
Okay.
Now we're no longer friends with that mutual friend.
Oh, so you cut that person out?
No, okay. He's gone to Australia.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard from him in a minute.
Yeah, I hope he's doing well. Also.
It's your boy.
Yes.
The
Crime Stopper.
Yeah, the Crime Stopper. Yeah, so that's how I got to know a lot of people here. I've lived here for like 5 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's actually where I picked up my fashion love and all of that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to talk a little bit about that.
She said something about modest. Where's that?
Yeah. What's the difference between a modest fashion blogger and somebody who's just a fashion blogger?
Exactly.
So a modest fashion blogger is probably someone that's not going to care a lot about showing too much skin.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's really about, and it does not have to do a lot with religion. And I feel like that's the mistake that people always, you know, take into account is like, oh, you're a modest fashion blogger, it means you have to be a hijabi or you have to, you know, be from a certain religion. That's not the case at all. I feel like modest fashion is actually picking up in a lot of different cultures, a lot of different religions, so that's really nice to see. And yeah, it's a lot more about dressing, you know, covering up, but also being on top of the trends, you know what I mean, looking good all the time. It has nothing to do with being less than, you know. So that's how I'd say it is.
Is this an actual term in the industry?
Or did you make it up?
I haven't made it up. I have not made it up.
Okay.
It's definitely mentioned that it's more about covering yourself and not showing too much skin, but I don't know. I feel like some people do still like to relate it to Islam in a way, and that's what I try to stay away from, because if you put it as that, then you're kind of cutting off a huge, you know, spectrum of people that might be interested in modest fashion, but they're not really Muslims, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
because it's not everybody who's not trying
to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you do market it as that it's just an Islamic thing, then you're cutting off a lot of people who might be interested, you know. So I do feel that the term is still being developed.
Okay.
And it has a different understanding from one person to another, but for me it's the way I like to to mention it is that it should not be related to any specific religion. That's it.
This is very interesting, by the way, because I never knew about modest fashion.
Same here, bro.
But my thing is, where does modesty come from? Who teaches you modesty, right?
Right.
And then maybe if you track back, it does go back to religion. Your religion tells you, okay, you need to be dressed in this way or that way.
Of course.
Well, I'll say, part of it does go back to religion, but another thing would just be your upbringing. What are you guys comfortable with within your family? With your own body? Simple, because swimming, for example, as a guy, bro, swimmers wear Speedos.
Right.
I might not be comfortable wearing a Speedo.
Right.
You see what I mean?
It doesn't necessarily have to be
it's an upbringing, honestly, and it's an environment, and it's family, and it's friends, and it's a lot of different influences, I feel. So yeah, and if I could speak about my upbringing, we were definitely from a modest family. Like, we don't really dress showing too much skin, whatever, and it was way before we started wearing the hijab. Probably also where we've lived. Most of my life I've lived in the Gulf, so I've lived in Saudi, I've lived in Qatar, I've lived in UAE, and we don't get too exposed to that culture where you're dressed, a certain way, where you're showing too much. So I feel like that derives the whole idea of modesty also.
How much do you spend on fashion?
Ugh.
No, I'm asking the real questions here, right? Because
Oh my god.
Approximately.
Funny enough, I don't spend too much. Like, I put, honestly, I'm a girl, I'm working, I got money, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So, and fashion is something I like to, spend on. But I wouldn't put too much on it either. Do I have to say a number?
I mean, approximately.
I don't really. I don't. Okay. But no, it's subjective, man. Because even if she gives a number, what if for her it's conservative and then for someone else it's like,
it's too much. And then they'll judge her.
Yeah, because now I would rather put it this way to say, in terms of fashion, does the amount you spend matter as compared to how well you dress? Do you get what I mean?
Right,
There's this thing, there's this thing of like people dressing, okay, I want Balenciaga, I want this, my whole drip might cost, 10K? But does it look good though? Does it look good?
You look good in that?
That's that one I think is where it's like, people need to focus on.
The way I like to think about it, or the way I like to shop, is buy some stuff that are very versatile, and I could wear it in multiple ways. Okay. That's the way I like to, to shop, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I could buy a very expensive piece, and I'm like, okay, I wear it once, and it's too out there, I'm not going to wear it again. And I don't like that. So I'd buy a piece that I can dress in multiple different ways, and, I'm saving at the end of the day, but I'm also looking good in multiple ways.
And you can mix it up, yeah?
Yeah, and you can mix
smart.
it up.
I like
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking of, like...
So...
continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it's honestly the way I do it. I mean, a lot of the times, and I do take out a lot of my clothes. So whenever I shop something new, if there is something that I want to give away, I feel like I've overdone it, overworn it, take it out, and you're mixing up your closet all the time. Yeah. So
that's better.
Yeah, it's much better.
You don't feel too bad, even if you spent like $3K. You're taking stuff.
When I say fashion, what comes to your head?
Self-expression, for sure.
Okay.
That's mainly it for me, honestly, because I feel like, and honestly, a lot of the times I would not feel good about myself, or I feel like I've had a really bad day, and I know there's an outing coming up at the end of the day. Literally would dress up and I'd feel 10 out of 10. So it's a mood changer also. You know what I mean? Yeah. Self-expression, mood changer. It's experimental for me as well. I try to find what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with. There's a lot of trends that come up on a regular basis, but is the trend for everybody?
Yeah,
it's not. And you're not going to know unless you really try it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Would you say you're a fashionable person?
Bro, I say I wear what suits me, bro. That put simply.
Polo, whatever it is.
Yeah, polo, keep it simple. Plain colors, colors that complement my skin tone. That's it, because that also matters. If you're going out, 100%. Like you said, you're going to think about taking pictures or whatever. Of course, as a guy, I don't take much pictures, but it matters here and again,
I agree.
Because that's kind of important. What about you?
I would like to think so. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I don't necessarily put in that much money into these things.
Yeah.
But I like to dress to impress as much as I can. There's a very, very interesting conversation that I really want to get into. And
that's why you're here. This is why you're here, bro.
When he says that, when he brings it up, it's the intro for me, you know.
So before I pass it on to you, I'd like to share my own opinion about it. Is that no? I'll start with your opinion.
He's like irrelevant.
Start with whatever the point is, then give your opinion.
Okay.
Me first.
No. Okay. It's. I've seen a lot of those influencers, those Arab influencers, and they decided to take off their hijab or veil or whatever they call it, and with all due respect
This
to
was
them,
after they now. So prior, they were wearing.
They were wearing
and
it,
then they got into this influencer lifestyle, and then
they were in it
exactly.
Okay,
but they were in it with it, and then they took it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my concern here is that if you're not gonna wear something the right way, don't wear it at all. You're not gonna get so
there as well.
yeah. So the way they tend to put it on is that their hair is all over the place. The point is to cover your hair. So how are they still showing their hair? That's my point. And then they decided to remove it.
So slowly it started moving back.
Yeah, it's just until they took it off.
Like a goon
Period.
losing his hair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look, I'm not one to pass judgment. It's their life.
Yeah.
But you hold a big number of followers on your IG page. You inspire, you influence many
Youngsters
people.
and everything.
100%.
Yeah.
And when they peep this, they're like, "Oh, okay,
It's okay.
hijab is not really,
100%.
it's not really important." My question to you is very straightforward. What do you make of this? What do you think of this?
So I'll tell you something. I started wearing it at my first year of university because I've moved to a different country. You know, I was like, I want to start the right way, blah blah blah. But what a lot of people don't know, even my close friends actually and family probably, is that I started thinking about it a year before. Like I was like, at the end of this year, inshallah, khalas, I want to wear it. I want to get into it. I want to read more about it, whatever. And it took me, like, it was literally like a project. Like, I was researching, testing it out, testing looks, seeing how I feel. I was looking up to a lot of the influencers that actually today have removed it. You know what I mean? So it was, when I saw it, obviously it hurt me a lot because I've been influenced by these people, right? And I looked up to them, and I would say I did the right thing, because they've influenced me, whatever. But now I look at them and I'm like, they've all removed it. However, I do believe that it's a personal journey, and I do believe that it's definitely a difficult thing to wear it, but it's also a lot more difficult actually to remove it in front of so many people, so many followers, and you definitely get a lot of hate. I feel like people that wear it and remove it that are not influencers have it a lot easier because it's not that much of a judgment from people that you don't even know. But of course I would say I'm against it, Akid Yani, because at the end of the day, you did, whether people like to hear that or not, you do when you put that account as public, that's a choice. Do you understand what I mean? Like, it's a choice. You went ahead and said, I want people to be influenced or to look or to see what I'm doing on a regular basis, right? So you are in a way opening yourself to that talk. So whether you accept how they will bash you, they will support you, whatever, you don't really have much of a say for that because you've given yourself that platform and you've allowed the people to take in a lot of your life decisions and the influence that you've given them. A lot of people don't like to call themselves influencers. I for one, am definitely that person. But is it a choice if I'm influencing people
It's
to
not.
do
Now
something?
that's a different conversation. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I've had, alhamdulillah, I've had a lot of girls that come up to me and said, you make modest fashion look so easy. I'm considering it now. And I'm like, I was not trying to influence anybody. Like, I'm just posting pictures and looking good,
Yeah.
But I'm out here doing that unintentionally.
It's impacting somebody else. I want to break it down because now I think you guys are coming from a background of Islam and all this, so you guys have grown up in it. For me, I've not necessarily, right? Fine, I've got friends who are Muslims and all that, but I think also the joy of this is to help people. To break it down, of course, because you said something about the right way of wearing it, right? So I want to understand from both of you guys, right? Firstly, what is the right way, and secondly, what does it signify? In a religious sense, and also to you, because I believe they're those. Or if it's the same, you can also stay. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I feel like I have a long way to go. I don't feel like I always wear it the right way. I feel like I wear it in a way. I definitely never, up to this point, saw myself removing it, and I hope I never do, inshallah. But I am looking into doing it in a more correct way, which is to cover like basically all your hair and neck area, right? This
That
is the correct way
That
of
is
doing it.
how it should be.
That's
done.
how it should be
Exactly.
worn.
Like no one
Okay.
should actually see any of your hair. That's
Right.
that's the correct way, to be
Okay.
honest. Are people doing that? Not really. But I would say that it's also what it signifies is it kind of is a protection. You know what I mean? And it kind of is making people not look into something that will attract them, especially men. This is the religious way of like, trying to understand what it is. But yeah, from a religious perspective, I feel like I have a long way to go for that, like, and I really want to. But you see all this influence, right? And people removing it, people talking crap about it, people saying, is it even a religious thing? Like, if I'm wearing it, I could be wearing it, but not doing because it's not just the hijab, it's really the whole behavior behind it, and that's where it's a controversial thing, because he's saying that if you wear it, you either wear it correctly or don't wear it at all. But there's a lot of people wearing the hijab super correctly, and their behaviors and life choices are not reflected.
They're not the best.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I respect the people that wear it and they are giving, because at the end of the day, you're wearing it, right? And people are looking up to you and, okay, she's doing the right thing, that's a nice thing, but I'm saying, like, I want to wear it and also have that behavior with it. Do you understand? Like, if I'm going to influence someone to wear the hijab, it's not just the veil, it's a piece of cloth at the end of the day,
It's a lifestyle.
It's a whole lifestyle behind it. And in a lot of ways, alhamdulillah, I feel like hijab has protected me, like it was a shield from a lot of different situations, from people trying to hit on me, or from even the respect that I get sometimes from different men who are hugging a lot of girls, but they see me as a hijabi and they're like, handshake. I respect that. Like that's something that I respect, because they don't know, you know what I mean,
The
they're
boundaries
not
and all,
they don't know the boundaries until you do that. So it's like it's a tricky topic.
And you
I mean, I'm not. I won't be wearing it anytime soon.
No, but you either have you have cousins, you've got family, you've got friends, right? Who do?
No. My family from my dad's side is notorious to be. They're just not really in touch with their faith. Very rebellious. So I don't have people where I can tell them, yo, you're not wearing it right or whatever. But going back to these influencers, first of all, by the way, Drake said a line which is very powerful. He said, nowadays fame is disconnected from excellence. Everybody's an influencer.
Yeah, anybody with a phone is an influencer.
Anybody with a phone is an influencer, right? What gives you the right to what are the criterias for you to be an influencer? Nobody knows. You get my point. And with these influencers, I think because it obstructs their the way they want to express themselves is the reason why I think they removed it, right?
So
because
the content that they want to do or the things they want to address,
pretty much,
they cannot necessarily do well connected to that vein.
How can you go to a club wearing a hijab?
No,
you can. Yeah. You really can't.
But do we know that that's the reason?
I don't know for sure,
100%.
but I'm guessing apart, because if that's not the reason, you would have enough ground to keep it on. Right, I don't think you'll just remove it easily. You have there's a moral high ground, there's principles, right? And you just sit back here and say, "Oh, my friends are all going clubbing, or they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're on yacht parties and stuff like that. But I'm a hijabi, I can't be participating in these things." So I think the best thing for me to do is to take it off, and
that could be one
aspect.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
It's very important
because a lot of I think most of the hijab influencers that removed it are still in a way not going crazy, like they're not partying, they're not clubbing, they're not doing that, but it's just, do they feel threatened? I don't know. Do they feel like they are less than the other people that are out there that have made it in life? That could be an aspect. I feel like people have different, and some people wore the hijab not convinced from day one.
You
know what I mean?
Family pressures and all that.
But then that becomes, but that's the thing, right? I was chatting to these people, my friends, the other day. When you wear something for so long, right? When you do something for so long, it becomes a habit, kind of like with prayers, right? With the hijab, the same thing. You've since you were little, you've been accustomed to doing these things. So there's no, like, I don't see any reason why they would take it off. You've been doing it your whole life. Right, I can't put my finger on one reason that tells me, okay, I want to take it off now.
let me hop on to her point around. Okay, I agree. Yes, as a habit, it should be harder, right?
Yeah.
It should be hard to get off. But now, imagine, first of all, you were not necessarily convinced. You're not grounded in 100%,
Yeah.
right? Because you said something. It's a personal journey.
Okay.
If you're doing it based off your family, that my granny's been doing it, my mom's been doing it. Cool, good for them, right? Maybe they had no choice. But nowadays as well, keep in mind the generation we're in, where people are all about my body, my rights. If I don't like something, I ain't gotta have it. Based on that, you be like, you know what? Maybe this is not me. Because already you're shaky, right? If your faith is shaky, you don't even need much convincing. You just do further research and be like, you know what? Do I need to be like this? How is my lifestyle? It doesn't align. Therefore, let me take it off.
But here's the thing, though. In Islam, it's an obligation to wear it. It's not a matter of choice.
That's where it's tricky. You know what I mean?
If it was by opinion, why would I cover up my hair?
That's where it's tricky. And I feel like a lot of people know that. It's just that the
They
excuse
turn a blind eye
that
to it,
they use is, but when I do it, I want to do it the right way.
Or the right time.
The right time to take it off?
Oh, no,
take it off?
No,
No, to put it
The right time
There's
to
a
put it back on.
specific time to put it on.
So wait. You grew up having it on. Then you go through a phase where you have it off. Because it's not the right time.
I'm talking about people that have not necessarily worn it at all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they're saying, like, when you ask them why, I'm just not ready, I've been thinking about it, but I'm not really ready to do it, and I want to do it when it's the right time.
What an absolute, what
is
rubbish.
the right time?
There is no, that's what I'm saying, it's a man-made excuse.
But, for me, for example, I've worn it later than the right time.
What is the right time?
There's no right time, it's a man-made excuse.
No,
I'm telling you, it's a man-made
What
excuse.
is the right time?
No.
Wait, let me make my point here, right? Let's say you're a fat person, you want to lose weight. What's the plan for you to lose weight? It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do cardio, I'm gonna jog.
No, but
hold on, I'm not done yet.
There's a specific time.
Let me explain to you something, right? If you want to lose weight, you start today.
Yeah.
You start tomorrow. You wouldn't tell me, I'm just waiting for the right time to lose weight.
No, of course. But I'm
you get my point?
Yeah.
So how is there a right time to put up? Just literally, just put it on, do it.
Religiously, there is a correct time for women to start wearing.
No, it's fine. That's like, I'm saying if you're in your 20s, for example.
So religiously, the right time is when?
Puberty, right?
Puberty.
Puberty, that's when khalas. Like, it should not, it's an obligation.
Okay.
I'm talking about people in their 20s or...
But he's talking about people who already surpassed that.
No, that time you passed.
How are you a grown-ass adult talking about I'm waiting for the right time? Bruv, it's been 5 years.
The time has passed.
That time is gone.
And that's how I felt at some point. I'm like, time's passed, and if I keep saying I'm gonna do it when I'm ready, when will I be ready?
When will you be ready?
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like there's a blessing with this thing is that when you start wearing it, and you truly pray that God guides you to the correct path, I swear to you, it becomes easier. Like, not once have I ever felt like, okay, I'm gonna remove it. I don't feel confident whatever, because done my research. I've really I've prayed that it's gonna be an easier journey for me, and it has been. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if people give it a chance, they might not feel like they have to.
I wish for this conversation I would have loved it more if we had somebody who has also grown up wearing it and then removed it.
Yeah, true.
That should be your next guest.
Yeah.
Like, I've reached a point where I've influenced somebody to do something,
then you can turn it.
Exactly.
On the aspect of the hijab, one more question. So now, okay, you've addressed the person who has been wearing it, takes it off, or has not, and then decides to put it on. What about the one who does both? Meaning daytime, have it on, nighttime, off. Because there are those as well,
of course,
right? They are there living a life which their family does not know about, or whatever it may be. Then what is the dynamics of that?
There is no dynamic.
I feel like it's back to you not being convinced.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like people need to give themselves the time to read through, to understand, to even read about the stories of people that have removed it. Because a lot of people have removed the hijab and they're very upset about that. Like, they're upset, but they know that, or they feel less confident in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like reading, educating yourself about it, understanding why you're doing it in the first place, not just because I have to, I've hit puberty, now I gotta put this veil on. If you understand the aspects behind why, and in the afterlife what it does and all of that stuff, maybe you'll be convinced to not feel like you want to remove it. Do you know what I mean? It's a personal journey. I feel like also surrounding yourself with the right people that support. Sometimes a lot of it is peer pressure.
Yeah.
The people that are going clubbing, the people that are doing that, and you feel like you want to fit in so bad, but you're wearing a hijab, you can't be going to certain places, you know what I mean? And this is something that I've been blessed with, is that my circle or my group of friends were never pressuring. You know, like, some of them do go clubbing, some of them do have their own lifestyle, but it's like no one enforces you to do that, because they respect where you come from, they respect your values, and they're khalas, like, okay, she's a hijabi, that's not something that she wants to do. So I feel like also surrounding yourself in the right environment will definitely affect, like, making that decision of not wanting to remove it or not even thinking about it.
It sounds so similar to, like, peer pressure. With all things. For example, if you grow up in a family that doesn't drink alcohol, the first thing your mom will tell you is don't hang around the bad crowd. Because you eventually end up, what drinking alcohol? Because I bet, like, I don't know, 6 times out of 10, bro, it's gonna happen. Same way this, if you're, you know, you grew up in a certain way, now all of a sudden you're being exposed to this, and if your friend group is not the best, you will also get in it.
So that's where I feel like I've been blessed. The family, correct choice of friends. This is why I never had to think about, you know, move it, I don't know. Never had to think about that, really. And even when they're going out, are you okay with going to a lounge? That's the questions that pop up, you know. Are you okay with doing that? Is that something that you want to do?
Why would you not term yourself an influencer, though? You've got a good following on IG. You know how to put stories. You know how to.
Have I not a good following?
I mean, it's
she hasn't even given herself a shout out here, bro.
Yeah. What's your Instagram handle?
Abrar.alhassan. Follow me.
Okay, we'll put it above her head.
Yeah. Of course.
Well, but back to my question. Why do you not consider yourself an influencer?
I don't think I have yet influenced anyone to do something crazy. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen it yet. And I myself work in social media industry as like a full-time job. So I see what it is to be a full influencer, is to, like, let's say there's a product, you put it out there, you let an influencer talk about it, the next day you go back and you see return on investment. I'm very practical about that, you know. So, like, has this person made enough influence for somebody to get that stuff? Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, am I doing that yet? I'm still working on that. Inshallah, one day. But if I feel like I've reached a point where I've influenced somebody to do something, you know,
then you can turn it.
Have you ever bought something because you saw a celebrity wear it?
Guilty.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you done the same thing?
Let's see. I don't think so.
Maybe once if you saw football, then I don't think I'd buy something.
Yeah,
but you've for the impact is crazy of fashion, right? Those celebrities.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's you seeing a trend and forcing it to be modest. Do you know what I mean? So you can make a statement like, yeah, you can still follow the trend and be.
But in reality, it's not even close. It's the no.
Wow.
It does not work. Yeah. So I say modest fashion is actually not for every trend, to be honest.
What?
Yeah. You see?
I don't know. This might be a dumb question. For modest fashion, do you also have, like, seasonal fashion, like runway things happening as well?
Yeah, you have the floral spring, summer, and then you have the winter. I mean, for us, obviously, the safest is like winter clothes. You know what I mean? It's the safest, and you can play around with it a lot because you're already covering it. But it's the tricky seasons are like summer, or like, you know, how are you gonna keep cool but also covered? So it's tricky. It gets a little.
What about high school? Did you guys ever feel that pressure? Like, because I don't know, maybe for you guys it's different, right? But I went to boarding school, so for us, you would find even I think uni, but not as much maybe because by then you've developed your sense. But high school, you find if you've got I don't know. Back then it was what Supra. Remember Supra with like that Lil Wayne phase, right?
Yeah.
So you find the cool kids would have all the colors of that thing, right?
Of course.
Did you guys have that
pressure?
Feel that pressure? Like if I don't have Air Force One, if I don't have like I don't know the latest Timberlands or whatever.
A little bit for me. I would see Lil Wayne.
I was actually not a fashion follower at all back then. Fun fact: the only time I started getting really into fashion was when I wore the hijab. Before it, I did not really care about how I looked. But then when I was like getting more into it, because I had the fear of, am I gonna look good? So I started simultaneously looking at options of how I would, and then suddenly I just got into fashion regardless.
I saw this TikTok, it was this Emirati woman. She was addressing Westerners,
Okay.
Because there's I don't know if it's a trend or it's something that happens. You find, I don't know, Russian women, American women, wherever they're from, Lord knows, who come to the Gulf and then now they start now sexualizing like hijab, abaya.
Oh my
like
God.
Oh no.
This is a thing?
no.
Yes.
Explain this.
Oh my God.
I think something happened with Rihanna actually.
Okay.
When she, not her last visit, but the visit before,
Yeah.
where she went to the mosque. What was the mosque in Abu Dhabi?
Well, Sheikh Zayed
Sheikh
Mosque.
Zayed
Yeah,
Mosque.
Sheikh Zayed Mosque.
And she was all covered up, like, because you have to be covered up when you enter that place. And she was posing very seductively and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And people were like, nah, that's not going to happen. You know, so people took it to heart. So, yes, some people, and that's when you don't really know about the culture.
Exactly,
I feel
yeah.
like it's so important. If you're visiting a country, try to just 5 minutes.
big
So that's
just,
ignorance.
Mm,
That's
that is
just
ignorance.
Google and, you know, and see what, you know, what people respect, what they don't respect, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it takes just a few minutes. My dad always does that when we're traveling around. He's like, let's just read, you know, let's just see what's okay, what's not okay, how people dress, how you greet people, you know what I'm saying? It's so important.
Like you take Japan for example, there are so many things which we might consider normal to them.
Here, but
You can't tip, for example. That's considered rude over there
Yeah,
in Japan, right? You can't litter and all these things, obviously.
Yeah, and there's no excuse because everything is available on the internet. All you need to do is just, and you can understand just a little bit about the culture.
What word of advice would you give to these young girls that want to pursue fashion or maybe even an influencer?
Influencer like that?
Yeah.
Well,
Fashion, I would say, definitely read about the beauty behind it. Read about why it was imposed on us as Muslim women. And then I wouldn't say get too much into other people's journeys because it can affect your choice. But definitely talk about it with people that you look up to that are wearing it. You know what I mean? Because that's where the good influence is. Had they ever had a struggle, how did they work with it, stuff like that. That's what I did, honestly. Like, and alhamdulillah, I had sisters to look up to, so I was talking to them a lot about the experience. How is it, blah blah blah. Of course, I'm not going to say anything bad. Yes, the best thing ever. But you know what I mean. Like, I feel like definitely talk about it, you know, and test it out. See how you look with it on. You might find yourself liking it.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Okay, so we have a question of the day today, guys. It's all about nature, animals, and all of that.
Yep.
So as you are very well aware, I'll get you 2 cents as well here, bro. The piece of garments that are made using, the animal fur, animal skin, whatever. Do you think that matters? Like, do you does it matter to you where it's coming from? Do you condone it? What is your take on this?
To be very honest, previously I didn't care much. Not to get hated on, but no, I honestly didn't care. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And then when I slowly started to get into it, worked in the industry for a bit, now thinking of doing my own, like starting, let's say, my own fashion line, whatever. I feel like it is something to consider because there's so much technology. There are so many new fabrics, textiles coming up. There's no excuse to like have to murder a whole animal to do that. I like, now I genuinely do not condone it. Previously didn't care, was not really all about it. Like, I was like, this animal's probably gonna die anyway, whatever. But now it's like no, yani, if there are alternatives, why are we still going back to like?
But here's I'll play devil's advocate. I'll play devil's advocate here. You don't mind the death of these animals in order to feed your belly. Same here. So why do you mind it now that why does the purpose matter? The animals will die anyway. Either you eat them or you. But these are.
That's true.
You get my point.
Yeah, bro.
So now she caught me twice. I'm getting back at her now. So I'm saying is why should the purpose matter? Whether it be eating them or wearing them, why should it matter? This is why I don't really care. Back to the.
You
I
saw
don't
it.
really
So I mean.
I don't care about the animals.
Bro, let them be, bro.
They finna die. It's a part of the food chain, right?
Yeah, I think it's different.
But how is it different though?
Wow.
Because I feel like, how often are we eating, and how often are we dressing up? You know what I mean?
No,
like,
but just how often you're dressing up. Okay, continue.
Ask.
How often you're dressing up, and how often the animals are being fashion is being manufactured
like,
are different.
Are different.
To
True.
be
They're still
very,
making
to
it.
be very fair, rarely am I wearing fur or like animal fur or whatever. Most of the time it's cotton, it's polyester, it's like, do you know what I mean? It's
yeah, but that has to do with the temperature of the country you're in. Like, let's say you're in Russia, for example, where it's what, fucking 1 degree.
No, you can still wear like thick cotton knitwear.
Yeah, but I won't feel cozy and warm. I need that fur.
I need that bear skin.
I need that bear skin.
That bear.
It's a good question. I genuinely don't know why I don't feel bad eating the animals. But I feel like, man, like, because the fashion industry is so freaking fast. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do have to think about how much of this is like, how many of these animals are actually killed regularly to keep just one small company running. H&M, Zara, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, like, for food, I mean, it's also a religious question, because you are allowed religiously.
You are allowed, exactly. You are.
Consume.
But there's also the alternative of going vegan, right? You can eat the plants and leaves and trees or whatever these vegans be eating. You get my point.
Anybody got time for that?
Yeah.
Wallah, that's a very open-ended
question. But the thing is, Chimo, I'll get your 2 cents here, but it also does, like, I get, because animals go extinct after, so, like, endangered, and then they're no more. Exactly, this affects nature in itself, right? Because it's you're messing with the whole food chain, food cycle, you know what I mean? Like, if a lion is eating a deer, you're not gonna say, oh man, poor deer. No, that's how it is.
That's right. That's
you get my point. But what do you make of it? I mean, is it...
Very good question, by the way.
Bruh, I would say this one. This whole argument makes me laugh because people are more willing to fight about that for the animals than the people working in the factories. You know what I mean?
That's true.
People are always about
That's
these animals here. Yo, but you know, sweatshops in I don't know, Bangladesh. They need the money.
Okay.
You know? So in terms of this, bro, to be honest, I think fairly. I also don't care, but I don't think about it often.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not out here on some how many cows died today.
True.
But what if you really got exposed to the number, like in a field of work or something? Because that's how I think of it. Like, no, I work in the fashion
that's
industry
different
a lot.
then, because the moment you get exposed to it, right? Then
I'm telling you,
it's like,
it used
the
to
more
not
you
matter
know,
to me.
then you're like, oh,
It used to not matter
true.
to me, and then until I realized, you know, like, okay, damn, that's a lot of.
That's a lot.
But you know what it is,
How
yeah?
many
It's for example, if I see a cow being slaughtered in front of me, I wouldn't want to eat that beef. Like, I'm not trying to eat it because I've seen it. Yeah. Similarly, if I see what they do to bears or whatever, but since these things are not displayed in front of me, I'm kind of okay with it. So long as I don't know about 100%.
So we basically all don't care.
You don't care
until we see.
Yeah.
Until y'all taking on a trip and see how this is done on a.
But in that case, that's like most things. Once you're exposed to them, you stop, right?
You
like
stop.
All this animal thing you're talking about. If you were to be exposed to a slaughterhouse,
stuff,
you probably stop eating meat.
100%.
You would stop eating meat, bro.
100%.
That's why.
But guys, let us know what you think about this
in the
question.
comments below.
Yeah. Let us know. Honestly speaking, I think one of the greatest episodes we had,
bro. Thank you, man.
Well, pleasure to be here.
We appreciate
we shall have
coming.
you back whenever you're around.
Yeah, for sure.
If you grant us your time.
Of course, anytime.
But guys, you guys enjoy your holidays. Enjoy Christmas coming up. And we will be doing more episodes. That is
definitely.
That is for sure.
Like yo.
Of course.
Forgive us for the delay. It will not happen again.
I already see John roasting us.
Yeah,
John's gonna be roasting.
He already did, didn't he?
He's been about it. Yeah.
But thank you once again.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Peace.
See you.
Deuces.
Audio Jungle.